Welcome in.
Welcome in.
Welcome to Do It for the Story. I'm Stacey.
I'm Morgan.
Cheers.
To us.
To us. To everyone. Happy holidays. Am I jumping the gun?
Happy holidays. No, you're not. Also, your nails look great. They're already holiday festive.
Thank you. These actually more of a burnt orange color. I had them on actually since Halloween, so they got to come off soon, but
Well, they look great.
did a little bit of fall color.
It was smart to do the burnt orange because then you're not Halloween.
Exactly.
You're fading in.
I'm fading in. I'm doing more of like, my color palette. I like a good autumn color. Speaking of autumn.
I know. Look at me in my sweater.
I know. Another great autumn weekend. We're back on our normal, it's our typical, we're recording this and on Sunday. You've had a jam-packed long weekend.
I would say it was more than the weekend.
Yeah.
It started on Thursday. JD's 20-year reunion.
Hats off to you, JD.
Hats off to you, class of 2004 from the United States Naval Academy.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. But yeah, it was really fun. It was really nice to just see all of these families and friends and, some people that I have heard about and never met.
Right.
Because you got to think it's not only that, this is a 20-year reunion from college, but these people were in the military.
Yeah.
So some of them are still in, some of them are out. And they're getting shipped to different places. Right. They're in all over the world. And so you just aren't in touch.
So wild.
They all were. It was so interesting to hear many of these different, people that I met, just saying that they had spent so much time like away from each other, but then would reconnect, which was the cool thing that they were never, it's like clearly these are people for them that it's like, if they ever called, I would be there.
Well, totally.
But like they were like, I haven't seen so-and-so in 10 years because they're deployed. Then the other one's deployed. Then they're in Hawaii. And
I was going to say, and living
Italy,
all over the place, even if they're domestic.
Yes. And then, there's just
kids and life.
And then if the, significant other is obviously they're a military, spouse, then they're double dutying it. They're single parents.
Right.
And single parents where there's no, you're seeing the other parent every other weekend or anything like that. Like,
just so intense.
So it's wild. It was just wild to really like pull it all together. And it was fun. It was one of those, the weekend felt like hanging out with family. And
I love that.
Because really
you had people staying with you. And
yeah, so we had like friends of ours came in on Thursday because all the festivities started. Like it was a jam-packed Thursday through Sunday.
Well, we were laughing because Morgan had I don't even remember what it said, but sent a text to our sister chain of oh, miss you. And Kiki was like, where is Morgan? And I was like, she's in Annapolis. She's just playing she's hostess.
Playing wife.
She is the sailor's wife. She's doing, her domestic duties, got her pearls on and her apron and her tray out.
I'm dead. I'm dead. I did have pearls on, but with a stack of other things.
I was going to say, I have one now.
But yeah, no, it was just, I will say, I, because, JD and I got together after he was out of the Navy.
Right.
So it happens all the time that, we're in Annapolis, we live here. And I was like, oh, if it comes up that Joe went to the academy, then they're asking me stuff and I don't know these things. I don't know any role he was in. I wasn't there. I never traveled with him. I'm the
so
wife.
You were finally getting a little education on what you need to respond with.
I was getting a little education, but also I'm the military wife that is showing up honestly on the easy end. I'm not doing any deployments.
No, yeah.
I'm not, supporting the family while he's gone.
That's so true. And even in your relationship, you never had to deal with even dating.
Not even dating, nothing.
Wow.
I mean, these
Because
you
some
know?
of the
women, the
friends' wives,
yeah,
like they've been together since
college, high school.
Wow.
I mean, it's a mixed bag. Some was, but yeah,
Wow.
like Joe and I were definitely the youngest relationship, but others, yeah, it was everything from high school, during college, met right after college. So yes, a lot of these, and then some people are still in,
which we know from from grandma and grandpa being in the military.
Yeah.
Mom would always say it, grandma would always say it, that, both of our grandparents are buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Mm-hmm. And grandma was the one that was like, no, we're definitely getting buried there. Grandpa was a little bit more like, oh, wherever,
Right.
And she's like, no, it's part of our, it's like our being honored. And it was also it was a benefit, but it was a privilege. And she was like, we always say that the wives don't get the credit they deserve. No. And they're very much military.
Yeah, they give up a lot.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for all the military wives.
Yeah, they're like keeping it together for all these guys. And the men, they're amazing people. And
look, gosh, you have to be.
These high functioning, and obviously there's men and women in the Navy, but in the circle I was with, it was all
the guys
men,
and their wives. Well, that's awesome.
Just these high functioning people.
And it was, again, like great weather and just a lot going on.
Yes, the weather was perfect and everybody had fun. And, Angel was so excited to have a party at the house and have all these kids and just...
was there a flyover yesterday?
There was a flyover. All the kids saw the Jets.
I was going to say
the Blue Angels outside.
Were they?
At the gate. No. Just the Blue Angel that's permanently there outside.
Oh, right.
The old one. So all the kids.
I was going to say, we all know Angel.
Why is the Blue Angel there? Why is asking all the things, all the kids. They're sledding. So the other thing too is it's a wholesome. So these football games. So for those that have never been to a Navy game, the kids are sliding down the hill, through the whole game on paper, cardboard boxes.
So funny.
And just bombing down the end, because the end of the stadium in
was
the
Angel
one end zone. Absolutely.
I've never seen
they're
her do
sprinting down the hill, they're rolling down the hill, they're doing the boxes. So what am I doing? I'm the mom that's like, okay, where are we getting boxes from? Because they don't let you bring them in.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How do they get the boxes?
You gotta go and you gotta stand up for yourself, and you gotta ask, and you gotta go
like the concessions.
At the concessions, I found the right one behind the Picante truck.
I was just going to say.
But no, it wasn't. I didn't take the Picante ones because it was even easier. Behind the Picante truck was the beer distributor. They're loading and filling the crates. They're the guys that walk around the stadium, the boxes or whatever. And so I was like, excuse me, can I take these? And they're like, yeah, take. So I was grabbing them.
You're like, I'm Miller. A cool mom.
I'm stacked up with.
I got my boy sliding down on Miller High Life.
It was literally sliding down. They were loving me. I was like, I'll make another run. And then so of course the kids are loving me, the parents are loving me, but I'm also getting alone time. I'm not like, I'll make another run. I got to go get them. Anybody need water? I'm going to the fill-up station.
Meanwhile, Morgan's just doing laps around the stadium
solo. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
But I hadn't Angel a ton, obviously.
I hadn't seen you guys, although I have to tell the story about what I heard from you yesterday.
Oh, you have to.
So yesterday, I spent my day with one of my best girlfriends, Levy Wyatt, and was up with visiting her and her husband and her boys, just having like a good, girlfriend hang time. And so I'm with her. We're catching up. I'm at her house all day. I wasn't paying attention to my phone. So I go to leave her house, and this is like at 5 o'clock, and to tell Joe I'm driving home because she lives like an hour away from me. And I pick up my phone and I see that I have a missed call from Morgan, a missed call from JD. And I had a bunch of other texts, like group texts or whatever, like with some of the sisters on it. But I didn't read those first. I saw that I had the missed call. And then I went to open my text messages. And the first text is from Morgan. And it says, I need help. Followed by a Google map, like
a location.
Like a location.
Like a pin, drop a pin.
And then it says SOS. And I look at the location, and the location was around the corner from my house, like on my side of the neighborhood. So I was like, this is weird. And because I see that missed call from JD, I'm like, oh, was something happening in my neighborhood? So I was calling Cease because I just let him know I'm on the way home. And then I said, did you talk to, JD or Morgan? He was like, no, why? I said, I got this, text message from Morgan that said I need help, and then SOS, and told him the location. So I called JD. Well, I tried calling you. You don't answer. I called JD and he's like, hey, what's going on? And like being so chill. And I was like, I got this really weird text from Morgan. I've been good. He's like, oh, yeah, our phone's messed up. So for the rest of the night, Morgan's broken phone is sending SOS, I need help, and locations to not only me, but to our sisters as well. Like, but then, because your phone was broken and it was like the emergency contact was just sending. But we were dying because it was weird that it sent them one random location. But I'm like, all I could think of when I opened up the text that said, I need help, was the sales episode.
I'm dead.
And then, but anyway, I was like, okay, but new phone on the way.
No, but the hilarious thing is that, Joan, I'm setting up for this party that we're hosting, last night. And I can't see anything on my phone. The screen's gone black. Oh. So I can't see what it's doing. And so all I see is that I can hear it. It won't, I'm prepping for this party and it keeps ringing. I'm thinking maybe it's telemarketer. Then I'm like, fuck, somebody's continuing to call. What's going on? So then I got to get on JD's phone. I got people coming into the house. I'm running around and my phone's blowing up. And then I see, you guys texting on his phone. And then that's when I started saying, you're going to have to block me. I can't get it to stop.
I can't.
And the people I was with, I was like, oh my God, is this texting my whole,
that's what I was worried about.
I realized it was my emergency list of.
Yeah. At first I was like, this is pretty awkward. Not awkward, but I was like, if this is texting like everybody, I hope they're not thinking like, oh my God, is Morgan okay?
I was just glad that you guys responded.
The emergency alert works.
It worked.
I responded a couple hours later. I was engaged in my visit.
It must have been Jinx and Kiki that were calling repeatedly.
Kiki did. She's like, I'm glad I reacted.
Yeah. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you, Jinx, for responding.
I was
Stacey.
I'm sorry, I was engaged.
As soon as you could, you responded.
And then I was like, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know if I loved that you called Cece before you called me, but it's like.
No, I did call you first.
I'm kidding.
It went to voicemail.
Well, it's because it was broken, but new phone's on the way, and I'm really excited about it because now that we got the pod, I need to be doing content.
Well, and just like life, like when you don't have your phone working, you realize how much you rely on it.
I know, it's terrible.
Just for like little things,
little things, yeah,
like texting JD, like, hey, I have a question about whatever, or also how much you're missing from, if someone else is trying to reach out to you about something, then you're like, oh, I gotta catch up.
I know.
But at least you had a good weekend. You didn't need the phone because you were with JD. Like, it actually was the best weekend for it to be.
Because I think this was a weekend that I was originally going to be out of town by myself. And I was like, oh my God, thank God that didn't. Yeah.
No.
And then as soon as that screen started to go dark, I went right to T-Mobile on Friday. Last thing I wanted to do, but that screen flickered and I said, I'm running over there to T-Mobile. They need to make sure everything's downloaded because I was like, if this thing goes black, what's going on? I need to get a new phone.
Yeah, you can't operate like that.
It
would have been, you've been carrying around an iPad trying to make it work. Not even, at least I can do that because, you're not an Apple user, but I have done that before where I had to use my iPad as a phone when I lost my phone, like in college or not college. Come on. I didn't have that technology then. But anyway, at least with your hosting weekend, it was kind of giving you a little...
it was a taste. It was definitely a taste of the holidays.
Of what's to come.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
It's what's to come.
Which is the best time of the year for one reason. We get to answer every phone call, meetings we get to join at work with happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I think we now can, in all seriousness, I think we're there. Like, what are we, 2 weeks out?
Oh, we're in.
From our
so not
harvest
this Thursday,
and our thankful season.
But the next Thursday is Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And we'll probably talk about that next week we'll
talk a little bit more about,
Yes.
Let's talk about the real history.
The real history of Thanksgiving.
The history that we all know America likes to abbreviate, the true history. We don't, we don't have enough time in today's pod to go into that.
But for now, we'll say it's a harvest, a thankful harvest.
A thankful harvest. And so, as you know, what we all know of in today's U.S. culture of American Thanksgiving is sitting with family members, family, eating some turkey, mashed potatoes, overeating, apple pie. But like, I love Thanksgiving holiday wise, because especially, when you're a kid, obviously, like we celebrate Christmas and that's so fun when you're little and you get the gifts. I love the Thanksgiving. I love Christmas as well, but I like it's like a dinner party.
I'm right there with you. It's a big dinner party.
It's more on the mingle.
It's casual. It's mingle. And what you're bringing is sustenance that everybody's got to eat anyway. And it's not about what can I buy? What can I gift? The stress of I got to wrap, how much am I spending? It's just, let's overeat.
Let's overeat.
Let's hang
Maybe
out.
Maybe over drink, over imbibe.
Yeah.
If you're not a drinker, you're more of a, cannabis lover, whatever.
If you're sober, you're just like, I'm chilling. I'm putting my feet up. I'm eating food. I'm just hanging out with family and friends.
And because everybody does their holiday differently, but like, it's usually for most families, I would say it becomes like an all day event. You're not just coming to dinner at 5. Some people eat dinner. Some people eat dinner like noon, which I can't, but it's more of the, we're hanging, we're gathering, we're getting to spend quality time. And it's not like, I like it, especially with our family, because, with the 5 sisters and then all the brother-in-laws, and then you have mom and dad and the nieces and nephews, I get opportunity to mingle and not have to worry about, like, I'm not just like, oh, I didn't shock that person. Like, it's a long of a day, start to finish, where like I get to have one-on-one time, I feel like, with everybody.
Yeah. Well, and also because we host, Morgan, this is Morgan speaking, and Donahue, we host Thanksgiving on Friday, that then everybody spends the night. And so then it goes into like the Saturday, maybe Sunday. And so it is, how many of us are there? Let's toss it out as like with the kids, it's 20 or something. I don't know. Yeah. Probably not even that many. And, we all fit in that one big room in the back. And so, there's just a lot of time, and it's leisurely. It's not you're dropping in on a party for that one day and driving an hour and a half home. Right. And then, you know what I mean? And there's 40 people in the room, and some of them that you haven't seen in 6 months, a year. Like, we do get to regularly see each other.
It's nice because we do like, and again, because it would be some families do like the massive, everybody comes, and which is great. But ours is just more of the, it's the immediate family and the nieces and nephews and all that.
We used to do that.
We used to do that.
Mom and dad.
Before there were so many of us.
Do the cousins and the aunts and the uncles.
Yeah, mom and dad used to host everybody.
Yeah. Like
they had 30, all of 40. Dad's siblings, which our dad was one of 7. Mm-hmm. And obviously their in-laws, their kids, our grandparents on both sides. And then, it was literally like, I feel like they always had 30 people.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Which, looking back, I'm like, I don't know how we fit everybody in there, but it was always great. It was always like a warm holiday and fun times, and there's always so much to do. But over the years, just like that, like, traditions change. Obviously, that would be impossible for anyone in our Williams side of the family. Like, no one has a house that's like McMansion style to host.
Like, what are we, 60 people?
Oh my God, at least.
Yeah.
With all the boys now, and then the new nieces and nephews and everything.
Yeah. And there's grand nieces and nephews.
So we had started kind of naturally years ago, kind of splitting off just by, this person maybe was having a Thanksgiving, and, you kind of go around to different ones. You kind of choose. We were like always invited to different ones, but we started hosting, and it was just our family. And so now it's like because we're all not living in the same town, even, you know, selfishly, I love it because we just get to have, it's like we don't have family dinner like that unless it is like a holiday special occasion. But just to selfishly be us is so fun.
I know. I love it. It is, yeah, I don't know. And it's not like when I tell people that, you know, Joe and I host, I'm like, no, it's chill. Like everybody brings stuff.
Right. We all, you know, chip in. You are hosting at your house. You're setting up the tables, all that. But like,
and I've got, you know, I'm ready to host. The house is clean and the, you know, beds are ready to go. But there's the Excel sheets going around with like, which now we just rinse and repeat, use the same, everybody does the same thing every year unless you really want to add something new or change it up. But like everybody knows their assignment. Everyone's contributing. I'm not at all. Like I think too, sometimes, you know, just depending upon the family that you come from. And I've heard of this too, just even moms at school being like, yeah, I used to host and then like I'm doing everything.
Well,
and I'm like,
it's
no,
wild.
I'm like, I do the turkey, I do the stuffing. And, you know, JD loves to now, you know, him and Cease love to go and fish and everything in the morning.
Since we moved.
Yeah. Like, so they love to do that. And then, so obviously we'll cook that. And like Joe loves to now, like number one fan, you know, Miles loves the chicken that JD like figured out how to make that. Like that was a couple years ago now. So now we just like
gotta have a little jerk chicken
every year. But those are things, again, that's us. That's JD and I kind of going over the top, but like those are things we do, but everybody else has, I'm not doing the broccoli and the Brussels sprouts and I'm not doing any of that.
Our spread, I'm not going to lie, is so good.
It's so good.
Because everybody contributes and then you can put time into your signature
dish and it gets
like
better.
Mimi's sweet potato casserole.
Well, and it's that we have the casserole and then we have just the baked sweet potato. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The yam.
And then Jinx is showing up with the
Brussels sprouts with the pancetta.
Actually, I've been making the Brussels sprouts.
Oh, you've been doing the pancetta?
But she's been doing the, with pancetta. She's been doing the mac and cheese.
Yes, because you did try to take the mac and cheese the one year and then, or was that Kiki?
No, that was
It was Kiki.
I wouldn't
Kiki tried to take the mac and cheese.
That's too many steps.
Yeah. Kiki tried to take the mac and cheese.
I can execute it. And I did during COVID.
Yeah.
You know, we all learned like, again, I don't know if we've said this in another episode. Both of our parents, they're amazing cooks. They, you know, we grew up, food was not coming out of a box. Everything was from scratch at our house.
No. Yeah.
And so we were a little spoiled by that. But at the same time, because that was just what was natural, we were always, you know, we were helping for dinner, preparing. Some of us, like Lynn's, loves like cooking's more her thing, like her hobby, like relaxation.
Yes.
Where like I am more of a, you know, I'm sorry. I like cooking, but you're not going to see me like, I shouldn't say that. I cook because I have to. Like, I don't cook anymore. I don't cook dinner. Joe handles all the dinners. It's also the two of us, right? So it's just, I hate the cleaning up. But COVID times when we're in the house, I mean, then Cease was like, we're engaged then. He was like, oh my God, you were like cooking so much, making all this stuff. I was like, yeah, because I had nothing else to do. I was bored.
Right.
You know, and when we had Thanksgiving and we all had to be alone, I threw down. I did make Lindsay's like, mac and cheese recipe. I did make a turkey from scratch. I made all of the dishes. And Joe was like, this is phenomenal. Will I do that again? Probably not, but I could.
Right.
Like, you know, I can do the things and I'm happy to contribute.
Right.
But I'm not going to fight anybody for that dish that they love preparing.
Exactly.
You know, and like the Brussels sprouts, easy to put together. I even said that to her. I'm like, I don't want to take this from you, but I'm happy to do the Brussels sprouts.
Yeah. No,
and my Trader Joe's gluten-free cornbread.
Yes, which I love.
Which everybody loves because Morgan can't have gluten. And I did do grandma's dinner rolls. Maybe I'll do this again this year.
No, those were great. I mean, actually, when I'm talking about it, I get to have them. I smelled them.
But like, and then Kiki always does her mashed potatoes and she helps mom with the pies like the night before. And I also, as a kid, I loved being in that too, but like, I would say Lynn's and Kiki are more, and Mimi into the tradition, like they like to do the cooking more, the baking and the Mimi baking. She's got a touch with the baking too. Yes. And so over the years, now I contribute, but there was a while, especially when I was single, my contribution was I'm bringing wine and I'm going to make sure everybody's glass is full while they're cooking and mingling.
5 checks.
5 checks. And I would say you were in the same lane.
Obviously was vibe checks.
We were
okay.
We were kind of just mingling,
and I was going to Whole Foods and I was dropping 100 to bring some kind of, I don't know, bread, biscuit, cookie.
Exactly.
Nobody needed me to be cooking a damn thing. I didn't even want to use the kitchen.
And I did make a holiday punch last year. I did like a
I did
apple cider,
yes.
kind of spiked. So exactly you're saying the vibe. I was like making sure everybody's, has a drink. Do you have a cocktail? Do you want a margarita?
Edibles.
Which is really important. And of course,
Seriously.
everybody knew I was always the mule. Yeah. I'm rolling in with I've got Jay's rolled. A full kit. Who wants to step outside for coffee? Mm-hmm. So everybody contributes, but you need that person.
You do, because it makes it, come on. The vibe, we talk about it with the lighting. It's the same thing. The person who's bringing, it's the personality hire.
Right.
It's the same thing at that family party or the event. And yeah, I wholeheartedly support the person that shows up with the wine, the cocktails, the flowers, and the smile.
Exactly.
And
that's the thing too. I also, you know your role, but it's also I'm not a jackass where if I'm in someone's home, JD's cooking the turkey, you've prepared the home, you're going around doing the place settings and whatever. Also, you have Angel there. I'll either be how can I help with Angel? Or, well, let's be real, Lala's in town. So I'm okay, go to your grandma. But I'll make sure, do you have a drink? Can I get you anything? So while you are, and everybody loves it, yeah, I will take a cocktail. I'm absolutely, what can I get you? And I will say, number one fan is usually involved. Okay, I will have a drink. And, we're mingling. He's helping with the vibes and, and all the things. And usually we'll also he started bringing the jerk chicken as a little pre-appetizer because everybody gets so hungry before dinner. It was nice to have another little protein before.
No, you have to have appetizers, and two, and I do love to do the protein as well as my dish because like you, I'm not someone who needs to do many step. I need to make sure the bird is cooked at the right temp.
Yep.
Sat on the right side with the right amount of water and the moisture. Same thing with the stuffing. We do a meat-based stuffing, super easy. I just am I want to provide the sustenance. I'm doing the basic, as few steps. I'm not baking shit, nothing like that. And I'm providing the vibe. I make sure the party, is happening. The kids
you're
are
also
offering.
You're doing the most. You're offering your home.
I'm offering my home
and have it set up great.
Yeah,
and it's also fun because Morgan's house has living room, kitchen, open concept that opens out onto your patio.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years, it's been the only good thing about global warming is in Maryland. Weather's freaking great in November.
Yeah.
So even with the jacket on, which Morgan's got enough coats for the whole world. So you usually go pick a jacket out of the Donahue's closet.
Sure. Yeah.
And they have the solar stove on and you have your outdoor heaters on, and we're chilling on the patio. Kids are running around the yard and it's all, everybody's there. You can see everybody.
Yes.
That's what's nice.
Everybody's in the same conversation, but you can find a nook where no one can hear you too, kind of thing.
Right. And you also have a really cute front yard area with a little table.
Yeah, there's private.
So for the adults that, when Auntie needs to sneak away, I'll never forget getting called out, where'd the aunties go? I'm aunties are having a little coffee up front.
Yes, we need a little tea time, okay?
We're having a little time, having a little J-ski.
Okay.
But so it's just become a new tradition of hosting it there, but it's fun too because obviously, I think we were even talking about in last week's episode, we were talking about our last weekend of how Morgan and I living in the same neighborhood, it just makes it easier that we have two homes here, can have family stay with us.
And literally you can cook shit here and just we've got multiple ovens going.
Right. And because we do Thanksgiving, which was genius. Our mom retired now, but was a nurse for years. And so, when you're in the medical field, a lot of holidays you're working. And so we used to sometimes do Thanksgiving really early in the day if mom was working evenings. And then if it was her weekend to work or her holiday to work, if she was off on Friday, we would just have Thanksgiving on Friday. Then as we all started getting older and getting in relationships and Joni started realizing, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to start splitting holidays. Mm-hmm. She just said, why don't we just keep it on Friday? Why don't we just do Thanksgiving on Friday? That way, because most of us, with the exception of Kiki and Miles, our in-laws are all local. They're in the DMV. So it's easy for us to, drive there on Thanksgiving. It's kind of like hard not to say we're not getting on a plane. And so having it on Friday allows us, like I go to my in-laws on Thanksgiving Day on Thursday, and then Friday I'm with our family. And then because like mom and dad are coming down and Lynn's and Coos like staying, then we get to have Saturday too. We're hanging out.
Yeah. And then we get the whole weekend.
It's more of the,
It's much more calm. And I think that's also why we love it too, because it's not a rush.
Exactly.
It
seems so fleeting when it's one day.
Right. And then too, we, now where we weren't complaining before when mom was like, oh, I'll take Friday, because then wherever we are, we're doing the Wednesday night, going out. Then it's like, do we have Thanksgiving on Thursday to worry about, or we're doing it at the in-laws?
Yeah.
And
like
going
does
out
Gen Z, are they still going hard on the night before Thanksgiving?
I don't know. Do they go to like the local watering hole? Is that like our reunions happening?
I don't know. I don't think it's the same, at least not in our town where we grew up. We go to our local watering hole, and it used to get, we used to get lit. Like, I mean, I remember people, like friends of ours, waking up at our house Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah.
Because we would just be out drinking. Like, I can't even now think about how we could do that. Just being young. But yeah, and then to go to drink like that and then have dinner. Some people were like having early. I remember some friends like staying at our house because we were closest to this bar, right?
Yeah.
That were like, I got to get out of here. I have dinner. I got to drive down to, me, mom, Papa's, and I got to be at dinner at noon. And I'm like, you're eating at noon? Or like, have to be there being like, no, we're eating. We're having Thanksgiving at noon. And I'm like,
you're going to be sick.
You're going to be throwing up, man. Because you were already throwing up last night. But
you can't, how can you even enjoy that dinner?
And I hope to, I would think, imagine us though now, like with weed being recreational legal. Oh my gosh. Night before Thanksgiving, I'd be waking up, no hangover.
I know.
Ready to have a J before dinner. Just keep it going.
Absolutely.
Like,
totally different experience.
We ran so they could walk.
I know.
But I'm happy for them. No shame. No shame. But traditions change,
yeah, they change.
And
now we're chilling at the house, kind of like.
And I do think too, with our holiday, it's interesting. I don't know, but I have a sense that because we are a family of daughters.
Yeah.
That it's so natural for us to all chip in and help. We're always all like, it's never on one of us. Like no matter what's going on.
Yeah.
That even like when you're saying the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Kiki usually sends out the spreadsheet or has started creating it. I think Lynn's actually sent it this year, but it was the same one repurposed. We all know it's a collective effort. It's never this like women are in the kitchen, guys are doing the dishes. It's like our dad was the one that always cooked the turkey.
Yep.
And baked. Doing everything. It was like both of our parents. It was very much always a collective effort. That was just how we grew up. But same with us now. Like, like I said, and I know that's how it is in your house too. Donnie, who definitely does more of the cooking, Cease does the cooking. I'm like, we don't do 1950 gender norms, because if we did, my ass wouldn't be working.
No. No.
No. I'm like, I'll glad if I quit my job,
no.
But it's
I brought a child into this world. I've done enough.
Yeah, exactly. I said, if you want to eat, we've got hummus and crackers.
You got 2 hands, baby.
I can make some eggs and hummus.
In the kitchen.
Yeah, it's like, and it's, so I think that's something too that I don't think every family naturally picks up and do it, because I bet you in when there's daughters and sons, like I'm curious about that. If it's so.
Well, what's interesting? I'm curious about that too, because it's interesting. I was just talking about this weekend, because it was a lot of mixed daughter-son families, and like the, older girls, and the sons were more chill, we would notice, than when it was the all boys family,
Interesting.
So the sons, it was like they were more, also like, just more sensitive, and more like it was a more calmer environment,
or understanding too, that
more
like
understanding of the women's nature.
It's not all patriarchy, because we were definitely a matriarchy house, but our dad grew up in a matriarchy house, just because our grandma was like, our grandfather died so young that, you know what I mean? It was like second nature. It's like, of course, like,
right.
grandma was both grandma and grandpa, mom and dad to him.
So I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know if it's like, I could see it being, because even actually now that I'm thinking about it, one of the moms was like, oh yeah, talking about her son, he was whipping up the eggs for us in the morning. Like I could see, I'm saying like in the, in the kitchen, no different how like Angel's obsessed with cooking and hardcore.
Oh, he's a chef.
Yeah.
He told me he can cook anything.
He can cook a lot, but it's the same. That's so I think it's more of, just, are you in that household that's flexing on that stuff
and how you're raised? Cause it's just one of the things our grandma, our mom's mom always would say. She was like, my best marital advice is when your husband says, how can I help you? Or says like, hey, I can do that. Don't turn it down. Because when you start saying, no, I've got it, they're not going to keep asking. So if they ask you, can I cook dinner?
No.
Do you want me to cook it? If you start being like, no, I've got it. I love cooking. It's my thing. Well, cool if it's your thing, but everybody's got to eat. So now you're training somebody to not do it.
And not practice either.
And not practice.
Be like able, feel like,
because just like I was saying, everybody, I hate people who's like, I can't cook. I'm like, if you can watch a YouTube video, you can read a book, everybody can cook.
Right. You just don't want to. And I get that too. I don't want to either.
I don't want to either. And that's why I show up with the wine and I get. No, but the thing, and with those gender norms, I will say, doesn't have to happen in our houses because, like we're saying, everybody chips in. But I will say, you see it going on around Instagram a lot. Or the videos of or the reels of the woman being like, guests are coming over in an hour. I'm running around cleaning the house. What's my husband doing? Blowing leaves. If you're not having a barbecue, or in your instance, like I said, we do use your outside area.
The kids are running in the,
But you see it. You could probably drive around Thanksgiving on your way. Be looking for this. If you're in a neighborhood, driving to whoever's house, keep your eyes peeled. Is there a guy outside blowing leaves,
pacing around,
mowing
up on
the lawn,
the roof, cleaning the gutters?
Literally.
This is the moment you're cleaning the gutters.
Yeah, you need to be. If you're doing that, it's because everything is done. It's because that table is set. Things are in the oven, the kids are dressed and they're showered, ready to go. Your outfit is ready to go. Your wife is in the shower and being able to actually get ready before guests come. The baseboards are dusted.
Yes.
You are not stepping outside until inside is done. And you are saying, how can I help? And I will say, if you're in the house where it is more of the women are handling it, maybe because you like it, it's just not even about a gender norms thing, having a list visible of, hey, this is what needs to get done. So you can just say, check the list. Because that drives me nuts. What can I do? Look around.
What else can I do? I know. I'm like, look.
You've been coming to Thanksgiving as long as I have. You we eat turkey, stuffing. I put these dishes out. I need serving pieces. I need the napkins folded. Right. I need a centerpiece.
Right. What would you do if I wasn't here? What do you think we should do?
Yeah.
Go
to
1,
McDonald's.
2, 3, go.
Go to McDonald's and get a dozen burgers. But in that, I think that kind of it, we're laughing about it and saying it's not in our situation, and clearly you hear us we love the holidays. We're so blessed that we really, I love our family so much. Clearly wouldn't be doing this podcast together if we had issues. But I remember seeing it a lot last year, and I'm sure it'll start circulating soon too on the gram of this reel. It was like a reel or whatever quote that said, I remember people sharing it on their stories. And I was like, ooh, clearly if you're sharing a story, you're like, I feel seen in this, which was holidays are for dysfunctional families because it may be the only time they get together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, that's different because sometimes it is literally where you live, right? Just like you were saying, with all your Navy friends, deployments and, where you're located, just being an issue. But for us, that everybody can get to each other within 4-hour drive, we see each other often. Lindsay lives in New York and she comes down here all the time.
Right.
She makes a 4-hour drive seem like it's an hour.
Right.
And so it's not just for, it's the birthday party or we're having this event. It's little divas in a play.
Right. They want to come down.
Right.
She wants to come down, you know? So yeah, but to your point of, the holidays are for the dysfunctional family. So it's like, yeah, because it's so true. Like even if your family isn't dysfunctional, it could just be that like,
stuff is busy.
And
kids also get older.
But also too, it's like, I guess it just depends on, there can be so many variations of a Thanksgiving day, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
And like who may be showing up or like what to expect. Or even if you're just in a place, a mental place, you're like, I'm not really wanting to be that social. It's just the showing up. And if, like we said, if you're not with the people that you're so used to and comfortable with because you see them all the time or they're your best friends or whatever, it can be really overwhelming during the holidays. And you can have, or it can just be the dysfunctional and the trauma, and the triggers and politics and rudeness and I think I'm thinking of that woman that has the Instagram, the mother-in-law. She's like a mother-in-law consultant or something, like a mother-in-law trauma consultant. It's like Janelle something or other.
Yeah, but Janelle. Hey, Janelle Marie.
Yes, and she's always going in on the mother-in-laws. But I'm like, I want to know. I wonder if it's a deep track of like what happened with this woman and her mother-in-law for her to create an entire business about setting boundaries with your mother-in-law.
Well, totally. And I'm like, I'm so blessed I don't have those issues. I love my in-laws. But I think that all the time. I'm like, I want to know. I mean, does the mother-in-law have Instagram? She has to know about this.
Does
the husband no longer speak to the
Googled,
mother-in-law?
It was like the most random, like chopped together. Cause I'm like, I don't know what to call it. All I put in was like, mother-in-law consultant Instagram account. Like it's the only person that comes up. Like this is, she's
like she knows.
Known.
Like whether this woman's on Instagram or not, people have told her.
I get vibes that there's no way they're talking.
Now I want to go deep on her Instagram.
There's no way she's socializing with the mother-in-law more than once a year at least.
If you're watching this, hey Janelle Marie, we've got to know, does your husband still speak to his mom?
Yes, that's what I need to know. Does anyone still speak to
Because I'm also like, look, I've heard horror stories.
Yeah.
We all have. And that's why they had the whole bit of the mother-in-law, blah, blah. And I will say, just an in-laws period. You hear that. But I have heard some horror stories where I'm like, respect to her for just being like, you are not, I'm the wife now. Because some people, Janelle, it has wrecked their marriages because of the mother-in-law.
Woo, a doozy. Must have been.
So I wonder how she's celebrating Thanksgiving.
Right?
That's like, we got to follow her on Thanksgiving, see what her plans are. Dude. But like you're saying, it's like for us, we're excited about the fun holiday traditions, the warm, yay, around everyone. And for other people, it's like, ooh, when I think about Thanksgiving, I'm thinking about the trauma and the stress. And like, to like your point, even about this Janelle Marie, her account, like there is a boundary setting. But there's also sometimes when you don't even get to have the boundary setting, you kind of have to have your toolkit of how can I, 1, enjoy this holiday, 2, feel safe at this holiday, 3, leave this holiday gathering without angst, hatred, bad mood, whatever. It's your holiday too, is my favorite thing I like to say too. Like your vacation too. When it's a family vacation with a lot of people, it's like we're all adults. Sometimes I think people have a really hard time getting away from the childhood, what was set, what was the norm. And I'm like, I'm a fucking adult with a career, a marriage. I am successful. I'm kind. My community, I'm like, I can do, so people are like, oh, you tell, your parents that you smoke. I'm like, yeah, because I'm close with my parents. There's nothing wrong with that. But also like, what are they going to say?
I'm an adult.
They're
exactly.
like, oh, wow, Stacey, we see what that did for your successful life. Right? Like we're adults. I'm like, well, they're my parents. They're not going to disown me. If they're going to disown me for that, like, are you kidding? But some people, that's very real because they have parents that are still like living their own, whatever, their parents' trauma, right? Of So going into these holidays, it's so important
to like just have like a toolkit.
Yeah. Like have your go-to line. So maybe we should just like, let's start with, because one thing like you were talking about, okay, you host the dinner at your house.
Yeah.
But you also host family, like depending on, you know, you definitely have one of the sisters, maybe mom and dad, whatever at your house. And same with me. Not everybody is happily like, stay with me, stay with me. And not everyone also, depending on where you're going home to, you may not, you know, in this small little town, wherever you are, may not have a hotel to stay in.
Right. Or
may not have Airbnbs.
Not be affordable. And so,
right. Or maybe you can't afford it.
Yeah. You are staying with the family or you're having people stay with you. And so that's a lot too. Again, it's not just the day of the dinner. It's all of it.
All of it. And even getting there, like, or the guilt. If someone's like, well, I really can't afford the plane ticket this year. And, you know, feeling bad, you want to be there. Or, you know, like you're saying, it starts before the guilt being laid on. And, you know, if you're like, I don't, you know, I think I'm just going to do Thanksgiving with my family or my friends this year, that may be more harm to their relationship. And maybe it's well, if you don't come now, when are you going to come?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes for some people, like I remember a friend of mine was saying like, yeah, Thanksgiving can be tough, but better when I have other people around. So the attention's not all on me and what I think my, you know, family thinks are my shortcomings.
Yeah.
Than if I just went on my own for a one-on-one visit.
Right. Totally.
Less of a, you know, spotlight.
Well, especially, I mean, look, why are there so many rom-coms about lying about having a significant other at the holidays and how to get through the holidays and all of it? Because it can really be a lot. So it's like, you know, be ready, have some ideas. And, you know, I think, why don't we just go through a couple?
Yeah.
Let's give the audience a couple ideas.
I'll give you a couple ideas. So let's start with the travel. If you have to stay in someone else's home, right?
Yeah.
And again, if you have the option to, or if you can afford it, I think it's a great judgment call for you.
For everyone involved. The host,
just
the
stay
guest.
at a hotel.
Stay at a hotel.
Make
Airbnb.
it like a mini vacation. Yeah. Stay in an Airbnb. If you can afford that, that's a great option. But if you can't and you're staying in little town, you're staying in your childhood room or whatever, have those things like start your day with get outside, go on a walk alone, have alone time.
Or with like your support person.
Yeah, with your support person. If you have a support person with you, but also have that support person exactly on speed dial.
Yeah.
Make sure they know like, hey, I know it's your Thanksgiving day too, but I'm going to need you to check in. And if your phone rings, I'm going to need you to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just text me back, you know, give me some positive affirmations.
Right.
Tell me I can do this thing.
Right.
You know, because that sometimes might be someone's option. Because I think too, if you are, you know, if you have a rental car, go for a drive.
Yeah.
You know, if you can be the person that's like, I'm going to go, I'm making a dish, I forgot my ingredient.
Right.
But then if someone says, oh no, we already have sugar.
Yeah.
You have to remember too, less is more sometimes with the details.
Right.
So maybe like it's more of a sickness. My stomach's upset. I got to run to the pharmacy.
Right.
You know, just to give yourself buffer. Also, if you can set the tone of like, I'm not feeling my best. Now, if you're saying that, you have to be careful of what you're going to use. If you are choosing to use an excuse, because if you're starting the day saying, you know, my stomach's feeling weird, but then you're down in wine at dinner.
Right.
You know?
So exactly. But think about if you do say my stomach's feeling weird and you want the day to end early for you, you can get out of Dodge, you know? So, and you have to also think, who are you around? If they even hear that you might be sick, are they kicking you out? Maybe you want that. Maybe you don't. So, but what we're saying is white lies, there's nothing wrong with them when it comes to protecting your mental health.
Exactly.
Right. So absolutely. Oh, you know, even if you're like, I just need to go on a walk, but I don't want anyone to say they're coming with me. Maybe you just Irish exit and you don't say anything. I'm going out to the car. Yeah. Oh, I left my phone in the car. I'll be right back. Yeah. And then you're gone and for an hour, someone says something to you crazy. I just got a work call. anything you want to say, it's absolutely okay for that white lie to come out to save your mental health.
Right. And it also, it's, I realize that some people really in toxic families might be doing all the things and you still might not be catching a break. Oh, you're going on a walk? Well, I'm here making dinner. Well, you say like, I'm going to go get some fresh air. Make sure you're also doing this not being like at the appropriate times, right? So I think first thing.
Yeah, don't do it when we're sitting down to dinner.
We're sitting down to dinner, but it's like if you can take time to do your, morning meditation and also go to that place, like you can be very much, if you're sitting at dinner and conversation's getting heated and Uncle Johnny is going there with politics, go into your bubble.
Yep.
You are no longer there.
Yep.
I am now on a beach in Tahiti and I'm stoned and I'm not here across from Uncle Larry and I'm just going, I'm not speaking. I'm just like, I'm not nodding. And I'm also signaling I'm not interested. I'm like, I'll be back to the bathroom.
I was going to say the bathroom. Ooh, that went right. That those bees went right through me. Let yourself, if you need to be on that toilet for about 20 minutes,
right?
you need to do it.
Right. But
flush that toilet 2 or 3 times. No one's coming near the door.
No one's coming in there. And then, and you're like, and of course now, if you're in a state where cannabis is recreationally legal or medicinal, whatever,
edibles are your friend. Cannabis is your friend.
A vape on a walk where it's not smelling.
I highly recommend like vape edibles because if you're around people that are going to judge you, no one can smell it. It's a THC drink, but even with the drinks, make sure it's nothing that someone else is going to take a sip of.
Yeah. And with that too, again, if you are the person maybe is listening to this and is like, oh my God, I can't believe they'd be high at Thanksgiving dinner. Well, then if that's your judgment, then I hope there's not any wine at the table where you're sitting.
Oh, absolutely.
No judgment. Both sides. No judgment. It's medicine.
We treat everyone equally.
And
I don't know any doctors that are prescribing liquor.
Right.
But yeah, no. So, I mean, it
the
could
health
be
reason
anything,
is always a good one.
And also migraines are great because migraines can come on to anyone at any time.
They can come on quick.
It doesn't have to be something that is a known thing for you. You can even just describe what a migraine is and not name it a migraine. And like, it's crazy. It's like I can't even look at a light right now.
And I'll tell you, as someone who legitimately is a migraine sufferer, start to just put your finger on your forehead. Be like, I don't know my eyes. My vision's weird. And you're like, it's just like my head. Don't make a big deal about it.
Be like, hold on.
Less is more.
Yeah, just start.
People ask you, are you okay? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I don't want to miss Great Aunt March's pie.
Oh, no. Let me just run upstairs and grab, I'm just going to grab a Tylenol.
Yeah, I'm just going to go lay down for a sec.
Just for a second.
Just like regroup.
Yep.
And, with that too, it's the same thing with, you can get pressure. I've seen it before. People get weird sometimes about family members not drinking.
Or not eating certain things.
Especially if that's
like you have a dietary restriction. Oh, you can't. Oh, just try the pie. Try it.
Right.
I'm like, no, I fucking know what apple pie tastes like. I don't need to try it.
Right.
It'll make me feel like shit.
Even if it's not a dietary restriction, but maybe it's somebody that is in a health journey, or it's not even about losing weight. It's just they're like, I don't want to have that blood sugar spike. And again, I'm saying like it's the holiday for me. I'm like, again, without the dietary restrictions, like everyone, have your holiday, right. It's a calorie-free day. However, that's different for everyone. That might not be able to food can be very addicting for a lot of people because of everything that's in it. Having that one day is just like saying to someone, oh, just have one drink. That is an alcoholic, that's been, hasn't been drinking. They can't just have that one drink. And you wouldn't say it to somebody it's just like, don't force it.
Don't force anything, whether it's alcohol or food.
Just let people
or just
enjoy let them be them.
Yeah.
Like if they're good, why do you care?
Yeah.
If every slice of pie is eaten.
Right.
Because it's like, one, with the dessert, that ends up a lot. By the time dessert comes, there's so much. And there's always the like, come on, you don't want more dessert? It's like, of course I want more dessert. I want to eat every fucking pie here. I want the whole buffet of pie. But my body can't handle it, and there's no nutritional value in the pie. So I'm okay not finishing the pie, and I get that too. It's like I don't like wasting food. There's people that go hungry, but pie is not going to be what somebody can survive off of.
Yep.
So, it's okay to say like, I'm okay. I'm full right now. I'll take a slice to go and then just toss it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm thinking Aunt March says something to you about try one more slice. You can say, Aunt March, I don't think you want me running to the bathroom every 5 minutes.
Right,
you know,
like,
if they won't stop, you
my
make them go ahead, let them make them feel uncomfortable. You know?
Yeah, but it's also like just don't, and you don't have to comment too. On the other side of that, if someone is having their 5th helping of pie, and there's enough pie there that it's extra
for everyone,
let people eat. The holiday. This is the most gluttonous holiday I think that exists. So, like, it's not the day. Today is not the day for you to be, injecting your
opinions
I think
on
you should
anything.
be eating. I don't think you should have that. Or another slice of pie. Just say nothing.
Say nothing. Say less.
Say less.
Say less.
Say less.
But yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I don't know.
But I do think, too, on the drinking side, because I think that's got to be hard for a lot of people that then are going to a holiday, especially if you're the sober family member. And I've seen it before. If your family, and I'm not like judging it, if your family, especially if it is, we grew up in like very Irish settings where like alcohol's always there, right? If your family, if it's a part of the culture, the tradition, and you feel like you can handle it, okay, fine. Like if your family's still going to have alcohol there, knowing that you are, on your sobriety journey, you can also, if you're not, this is up to you. If you're someone that doesn't just want to have water or you don't want to explain to somebody on a sobriety journey, there are so many amazing non-alcoholic wines and beer.
So many.
And like liquor now too. Well, not liquor, but spirits. Like we were saying the other day, there's like tequilas and, faux vodkas and things. So
dude, the gin's amazing.
Yeah, you don't have to announce it. You bring in that bottle of wine. I do recommend if you're putting it out, with the other wine for everyone to share, you're also keeping a second bottle to the side. Because a lot of times people don't know and they're just pouring, right? They just see red. They're like, oh, it's a cab. I'm going to have some of this. But you can do those things if that helps you to feel included without, the worry. But judge less.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with food though, too, dude. Like if someone's pressuring you or like you're vegan and you're like, I don't want to fucking hear about whatever because, Uncle Bobby always wants me to have turkey.
What's about turkey?
Have
a slice of turkey.
It's like eat before you go. Fucking put the turkey on your plate, cut it up, move it around, hide it under a piece of lettuce.
Yep.
Just
say, I love this turkey.
Oh my God, this is great. Yeah. Push it on the floor for the fucking dog.
Yeah.
Like some of those things that you see in a movie, it got written in because it happened in real life.
And the other side of that too is if you're the person, because then you also be the person that wants to make a big deal about you being a vegan.
Right.
You got to bring your own stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If you have dietary restrictions and you're fucking worried about, bring your own shit.
I mean, that's Morgan's life.
Yeah.
It's like you can't eat gluten, you can't eat dairy, you can't.
I'm never expecting anybody to have anything for me.
And it's like really sweet when people ask, but you're like, you don't have to worry about that. Like I will figure it out myself. Like don't be the person. Now it's different if like there's a lot of dietary restrictions like on, I think in every family now, because autoimmune disease, hello. But like my mother-in-law is like, she will make, because she's that person. She loves cooking. But she's so just sweet, accommodating. If you were like, oh, I'm not even as a dietary restriction. If I was like, I'm not eating pepper right now. She'd be like, I made this version without any pepper on it. I made this one that's gluten-free. I made this one dairy-free. I mean, like that's up to her. I'm always like, please don't. But you don't be extra where you're like, I don't. Oh my you got to bring your own stuff.
People that are the dietary restriction people, and I can say this because I have them, that are like complaining and making a big deal about it and telling everybody.
And that's when everybody else gets a bad rap.
Whatever. Exactly. It's like, shut up.
That's when you're at a restaurant and when like I've seen it happen when you ask, is it gluten free? And you're like, it's okay because you're like, no, it's not like you have celiacs, but it's, for the inflammation when. Sometimes people are just gluten-free because they want it more of the trend side around it. Someone like you don't ruin it for others that actually can't eat those things or do have the food allergy, just be like, don't be extra.
Exactly.
But I think it's like also just remember that, like I said earlier, we were saying it's your holiday too.
Yeah.
So I know for some folks, like we are so blessed that again, we all can be together for the holiday. We're all pretty semi-local, but some families that are, blended families, you might be expected because when you were a kid, it was expected to go from your mom's house to your dad's house to your grandma's house to the other grandma's house to the step grandma's house. That's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And no wonder holidays are so miserable for some people. But now that you're an adult, it's your holiday too. We both have been the single 30-something at the holiday. You don't have to be married and you don't have to have a kid to be your own family.
Mm-hmm.
And I say your own family, meaning like your own family unit.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Yeah. Like you don't have to have a child or a spouse to be your own family unit. You can make those decisions. If you're like, you know what? I would love to see Mima and Papa. I would love to see both of my parents. Well, maybe you're having dinner at dad's and Friday you're going to mom's and you're going to meet. That's just, I hear some people's schedules and I'm like, I'm exhausted for you. It sounds like you're driving from California to Texas to Maryland in a weekend just for one meal.
Yeah. It's terrible.
It's a lot.
It's like, yeah, it's interesting that people don't recognize that, how much pressure all that can be. Just even if you love every single person you're hanging around, just to have a holiday turn into you driving to 3 different houses.
Yeah.
I mean, I've genuinely heard people say that they, have to do this. I'm like, it's too
I'm like, does anybody,
much.
and it's also like we said, our traditions have changed over the years. I'd flip it on them. Say, I would really like to see everyone. Is there any way that you could drive to me?
Right.
Maybe we can meet up at a cafe by, wherever it is that the first house you have to go to or something. I'm just making it up. But you're like, come on, we all have to give a little bit.
Right.
And for some people, like we were saying, our mom, having worked in a hospital, wasn't off every Thanksgiving. My company, I'm very lucky that I get off Thanksgiving Day and the day after. So I don't even have to take off for Friday. But some people only get Thanksgiving Day, which is Friday. And some people don't get that.
Right.
And then you have, if you're traveling, you're spending the weekend traveling back, and then you got to go to work on Monday. You're like, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And
that alone, just thinking of that schedule, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
That alone, just thinking of that schedule can make you anxious.
I felt like anxious even like saying it.
And if you're saying to someone, hey, I'm just kind of like thinking about the holidays or the state that I'm in right now, I'm anxious, or thinking about the holidays, I'm anxious, or I'm depressed. And if anybody is responding to you with, oh, well, I really still hope you can make it, rather than, I'm so sorry to hear that. How are you? What can I do to help? It's okay. You don't need to be here. We can FaceTime you or we can catch up on Friday.
Right.
If they're not having those responses, then that's already a sign of like, why am I stressing myself out? They're clearly not worried about me. They're worried about the body being there.
And that's when it is in hope. I mean, when some people make that decision of family or friend family, it's like our dad always says, people expect countries to get along when families can't. And the whole holiday, everyone's like, what are you grateful for? I sometimes think people are just more worried about the Instagram photo to say that we did it versus like really, look inward here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so true. It's so true. Are you more worried? It's like, God, that's like, I'm just like, that's so true. It's like, put the phones down, be present, be helpful.
Yeah.
How can I help if you're the guest? Mingle, like be pleasant to be around. Ask beforehand, is there an Excel sheet or is there one I can make, or what are we all bringing, And if you're the host, realize that you're doing a lot. You're taking on, the extra work. So if you need to say, hey, I need someone to do this, if you need to direct someone, if no one's asking you for help, or, is it okay if I stay there?
Yeah.
Where should I stay? Send out an email, send out a text.
It's never too late to ask for help. I don't care.
Send out an email, send a text, say, I'm so sorry to do this last minute, but I can't fit everybody here.
Right.
Is there any way that someone could, stay at this place and send them a hotel link,
or,
Yeah.
And it's also, when you are the guest in someone's home, you better be asking, even if, because we've all been there too. And some people, women or men are like, no, we've got it. Like, don't sit, I don't need you to bring anything. We've made every dish. But it's even like my mother-in-law, like she makes so much food. It's amazing. And there are times when you feel bad not bringing something. And I have learned that me bringing food, like no point, because there's so much stuff, right?
Right.
But do I show up with flowers or something for her, even if she's not asking for it? It's like those little things to also say, I see you. I know how much work you did. And then the first question out of my mouth when I walk through that door is, how can I help? And if she's like, oh, I don't need any help, I'm like, really? You don't need any help? I'll just start doing the dishes that are there that she's, as cooking. Or I'm like, sure, I can't do this or that, the other. Or if she really is like, I'm good, actually, I've got things under control at the moment, I keep her company. I don't leave the kitchen and say, oh, I'm going to go sit over here and do my own thing or like be on my phone. And I'm like, it's her holiday too. And if her tradition is to want to make the food and be in that environment, we all know, and you're cooking,
be the host,
you like mingling, like that's usually part of it. But it's just be thinking about the perspective of everyone involved, like, how can I help? You should not ask once, but you also should do. And if someone says, actually, Morg, would you mind starting to do, actually, it would be a great help. Could you start doing some of the dishes now from like the turkey? Because then, we're going to have more dishes after we eat. I've got to then wash the china. Do that and do it until it's done. Don't walk away.
Yep.
Don't use some little excuse of now I want to go, on my meditation walk. That's not the time to do your meditation walk.
Your time to do the meditation walk is when everybody's feet are up and the game's on and, it's end of the night and people barely notice where the fuck you are.
Right.
Or in the morning before the whole day has started.
Right.
And, along those same lines, though, for your mother-in-law, don't rush the meal.
Don't rush the meal.
If she's put in all this time, sit there and enjoy each other's company. And then make sure that you're cleaning up, doing every little thing.
Yes.
You're not going to the couch as soon as you can, putting your feet up.
Yes. And understand. And I it's so interesting. I'm like, I don't have children, but as a person, as a woman, as an observer of others' behavior, I understand that, especially if parents are hosting their children and their children's children, to have Thanksgiving, that's most parents' dream, right? Like mom and dad always say that they love when we're together, and you don't really get to have many of those moments. So when you are together at the table again, under your parents' roof, just give them that time.
Right. Understand that. Yeah. I love that Jesse Itzler, who's married to, Sarah, what's her name, that invented Spanx. He always says that, though, talks about how, you only get so many visits. If you don't live locally to your parents, you only get so many visits, for the rest of their life, and make it quality and be present and enjoy, or take the extra trip.
Yeah. And also tell your kids, if they have phones and iPads, be like, put them away.
Yeah.
You can play with your cousins and have conversation without it, but like, come on, put them up.
Yeah.
It's dinner. The whole day is dinner. We don't need that unless you're like taking photos, but like, nah, you're not sitting over there playing whatever the kids play, Roblox, watching YouTube videos or whatever it is. Like, come on.
Yep.
And to that too, like, which is always cute. Like at your house, I feel like you've always had, maybe I even actually, that was also my thing. Maybe I need to remember there was crafts. I brought crafts last year for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a cute, like Thanksgiving thing. So they were engaged too, even when you didn't want them outside. There was something for them to do that wasn't put a movie on.
Right. Right. Oh my God. Yeah.
So if you are an auntie or an uncle, show up with something cute for the kids. That can always be helpful. But maybe we leave everybody with our little one-liners too of because as much as you want everything to go smoothly, the wine is flowing, the liquor's flowing. You want everyone to be on their best behavior, but we all know the way of the world right now. among many other things, that you may be caught in that conversation with crazy Uncle Johnny.
Crazy old Maurice.
So what are some one-liners that, maybe you give one, I'll give one, we'll go back and forth, to kind of protect yourself or get out of that conversation?
Just an easy one is like, ooh, like if someone's saying something and I don't want to engage at all, and I'm just responding with something very neutral, like, oh yeah,
Like you're not giving anything,
right? And then or just, oh, love that for you,
or and I like interesting.
I'm interesting. Yes. Like keeping it super neutral. I'm not really providing anything. I'm hoping this conversation ends as quickly as possible.
Right.
And I'm out.
Right. Yeah. I'm in, I'm out. I like and like you're saying, to make a quick exit, it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I have to go to the bathroom really quick.
Yes.
I do want to hear this, but I have to go to the bathroom. And you don't come back.
Don't come back. Oh, sorry. And then you see him 2 hours later and you're like, sorry, I got caught in a conversation with someone else.
And I do like, if you do pull that trick, you go to the bathroom, I also beeline it to someone else or something else. Mm-hmm. And one thing too, I always found is great. If you are lucky enough to have, if there are young kids there, the nieces and nephews, go to the kids.
Go to the kids.
Run to those kids and
help them. In quotes, help them help you.
Or you're playing with them, you're being fun auntie, uncle. You can get the hell out of a lot if you're just like, oh, I'm with the kids.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I got to go help the kids. Or I'm taking them down the street to the park. I mean, it happens and it works. And,
and I think some people I recognize, there's a lot of people. And I think too of like, when you're in, every meal is different, but people that don't want to back off, especially maybe I'm thinking like, oh my God, the poor people in like LGBTQI communities, right? That are maybe having to go to dinner with family members that are very strongly that oppose them, or, we're sitting down and breaking bread with people that voted against our rights, not, us women as well. Mm-hmm. I like to flip it on them. And sometimes this is when I kind of go to as my back pocket. It's just like, oh my gosh, if they're bringing up the inappropriate thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, politics, religion, money, we know should not be at the dinner table, should not be at Thanksgiving. But you can't not have it come up, especially when you saw what Uncle Johnny was posting on Facebook, currently in the whole election season. It's just, I'm praying for you. Here are my prayers. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart, sweetie.
Bless your heart.
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, what?
And you can do it in a tone where they think that they either think you're being sincere or they actually aren't sure what's happening, and you just don't give them anything more. Oh my. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Wow, how'd that make you feel?
And then like, are you okay?
You okay, honey?
Are you doing okay? I'm worried. I'm praying for you.
Baby girl, I'm sorry.
Do to them what they would do to you, mirroring. Right. If they're like, you're in my, this is, you can have a choice. I would just,
or literally just repeat everything they say. Like, if they're like, well, you can have a choice. Be like, you can.
Yeah. If like, we need a change. You're like, we need a change.
We needed change.
We need change.
We need change.
We definitely need change. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what are they agreeing with me? You're just don't give in. It's not the time. You're not going to solve it.
No.
It's not going to be solved there. Mm-hmm. And the other one I like, then if it has to, because sometimes you are, again, and I'm only using the like liquor flow. Some people are just harsh, and it's like they showed up at the event because they are that curmudgeon that is on Facebook, because that's the only way they can find community, stating their opinion. And so they're ready to come with a fight, and they want to stoke the fire.
Right.
Then you just say like, I'm choosing not to engage. Or, what I love, again, I'd hate to quote another Real Housewife moment, Meredith Marks, Real Housewives of Salt Lake, I'm disengaging.
I'm obsessed.
I'm disengaging. And I'll tell you what, like.
Unsubscribe.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually unsubscribing from hate this holiday season.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just give them the one-liner, and then you make sure you are seated at the other end of the table.
Yep.
That's when you go on your meditation walk.
Yep, exactly. Or if they're saying something aggressive and you can manage, you just blank stare like you didn't hear anything you said. Oh, hey. Oh, sorry. Walk away.
Walk away.
Somebody else is calling my name. Gotta go.
Or it's like, when you have a safe word like, even, I don't know if you've ever been at a party sometimes.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, we got to get out of here.
Yes,
or
of course.
You can have a safe word with yourself. If you, again, this is if you don't have, an ally at the party, right? And hopefully you do have some, hopefully there's some cousin or somebody there that's on your side.
Right.
But if you don't, you just, going into it, you have your random word. And maybe for it to be less random, it could be something holiday, pumpkin pie. Like someone saying to you something, you're like, I'm done with this pumpkin pie. And you walk away, walk to the pie, look at it, and then you're not there. Or, it doesn't have to be a holiday thing. You also could just say, like.
I'm thinking, just choose some random like youth word, like Gen Z word, or like
fire,
alpha, like lit, like literally like lit. And you can think about how many
maybe
different
brat.
Like think of how many. Still don't even understand what brat means, but think about how many different tones you can put into brat. That they are like, I don't know what's happening, but it's applying. They're coming at you aggressive, be like, brat.
Or you're like, or just literally make a noise.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. But bottom line is, you do you.
Yeah.
It's your holiday too. Everybody deserves a happy holiday season. And, we fully realize that. And if you, not going to say come to Morgs because we have a limited VIP list. I'm kidding. But
all are welcome.
All are welcome. And, it's one day. We can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
Book an early plane ticket to get the hell out of there if you can.
Yeah, or just don't fucking go.
And if you're someone like, like us who can't wait for it, even if not,
try to have fun.
We see
Either
you.
way.
Happy holidays.
Happy
You're
holidays.
welcome at our couch, at our table.
Anytime. Welcome in.
And with that, have
like
a great
us,
holiday season.
Happy holiday season. We'll see y'all next week.
Divas.
Stiffs.